The signal arrived on a quiet Tuesday morning. It pulsed through space, crossing the vast emptiness between stars, before finally reaching Earth's detection arrays in 2147. Dr. Olivia Warren sat bolt upright in her chair as the computers at the Global Space Initiative headquarters began to chime. Her dark hair was pulled back in a messy ponytail, and she had been awake for nearly 20 hours straight. "We've got something," she said, voice barely above a whisper. Her fingers flew across the holographic interface, isolating the signal pattern. "This isn't random cosmic noise." The other scientists gathered around her station. No one spoke as the pattern repeated itself, clear, structured, and undeniably artificial. "It's coming from the direction of the Cygnus arm," said Olivia, "over 3,000 light-years away." For decades, humanity had searched the stars for signs of intelligent life. They had sent out their own messages, hoping for a response. Now, finally, that response had come. Within hours, the news spread to every major research facility on Earth. Governments scrambled to assemble expert teams. The signal continued, unchanging in its steady rhythm. "We need to decode it," said Olivia to the emergency council it had formed. "I need more computing power and the best linguistics experts you can find." They gave her everything she asked for. For 6 days, Olivia barely slept as her team worked to understand the alien message. On the 7th day, they succeeded. "It's not a greeting," Olivia told the grim-faced world leaders assembled in the emergency session. "It's a demand." The message was clear. Earth now fell within the territory claimed by the Keltheran Dominion, a vast interstellar empire spanning thousands of worlds. Humanity could submit to Keltheran rule or face complete destruction. They had one Earth month to decide. Captain Noah Franklin of the Earth Defense Force sat in the back of the room as Olivia delivered the news. His weathered face remained expressionless, but his mind raced with calculations. Earth's military technology was advanced, but could it stand against a civilization capable of crossing such vast distances? "What do we know about these Keltherans?" he asked when Olivia finished. "Almost nothing," she replied. "The message contains no visual data, no cultural information, just the ultimatum." Panic spread quickly once the news became public. Some people fled to remote areas, building bunkers and stockpiling supplies. Others formed cults, believing the aliens would bring enlightenment. Governments worldwide instituted martial law to maintain order. "We can't just surrender," Noah said during a strategy meeting with Earth's highest-ranking military officials. "We don't even know what submission would mean for humanity." While politicians debated and civilians prepared for the worst, a discovery in Egypt changed everything. A team of archaeologists uncovered a chamber deep beneath the Sphinx that had remained hidden for thousands of years. Inside, they found technology that was definitely not human in origin. Similar discoveries soon followed, in the Amazon rainforest, beneath the ice in Antarctica, and in underwater caves off the coast of Japan. Each site contained artifacts of incredible advancement, all bearing the same unknown symbols. When these artifacts were brought to Olivia's laboratory, her team made a stunning connection. The symbols matched elements of the Keltheran language. "These artifacts are millions of years old," Olivia explained to Noah as they examined a device that still hummed with power despite its age. "It seems Earth was once visited, perhaps even used as an outpost, by another alien species long before humans evolved." Noah picked up one of the smaller devices. It activated at his touch, projecting star maps into the air above them. Why would they leave these things here? He wondered. Olivia's eyes widened as a theory formed in her mind. What if they didn't leave? What if they're still here, in a way? She turned to her computer and began pulling up human genetic data. What if they left something behind in us? As the Keltheran deadline approached, humanity prepared to face an enemy they couldn't yet understand. But perhaps, Olivia thought, Earth had been preparing for this moment for millions of years without knowing it. Dr. Ethan Miller stared at the DNA sequence on his screen. His lab was a mess of papers and empty coffee cups. evidence of 3 days without leaving the facility. "It's there," he said to Olivia, "hidden in our genetic code. Dormant sections that don't match anything in Earth's evolutionary history." The artifacts discovered around the world had led them to this discovery. Earth had once been a research outpost for an ancient species that Ethan and Olivia now called the Cedars. Before disappearing, they had left their mark on early human ancestors. These sequences look like they've been designed to stay inactive until triggered by specific conditions, Ethan explained, brushing his sandy hair from his eyes. "Almost like a backup system built into our DNA." Olivia leaned closer to the screen. "Can you activate them?" "Theoretically, yes. The artifacts contain what appears to be activation keys, specific energy signatures that could switch these genes on." Ethan hesitated. "But we have no idea what would happen." Word of their discovery reached the Global Defense Council within hours. With just 2 weeks remaining before the Keltheran deadline, Captain Noah Franklin was summoned to the secret underground facility where Ethan and Olivia worked. "You're telling me we might have alien superpowers locked away in our genes?" Noah asked, skepticism clear in his voice. "Not exactly," Ethan replied. "But these dormant sequences could potentially enhance human capabilities. Improved strength, intelligence, healing. We just don't know the exact effects." The council debated through the night. Some argued it was too dangerous to activate unknown genetic material. Others believed it was their only chance against the technologically superior Keltherans. "We're running out of time," Noah said, pounding his fist on the table. "The Keltherans will be here in days. If there's even a chance this could help us fight back, we need to try." In the end, the decision was made. 7 volunteers from the military, including Noah, would undergo the activation procedure. Ethan set up the equipment with shaking hands. "Once I start, there's no going back," he warned. "Are you sure about this?" Noah nodded as he lay on the medical table. "Do it." The procedure was simple but frightening. Each volunteer was exposed to the energy signature from the artifacts while receiving carefully calculated doses of radiation to trigger the dormant genes. For 3 days, nothing happened. Then, on the morning of the 4th day, Noah woke up and lifted his bed with one hand. The other volunteers showed similar changes. One woman solved complex mathematical equations in seconds. Another man's skin deflected small-caliber bullets. A pilot discovered she could process visual information 4 times faster than normal. "It's working better than we hoped," Olivia told the council as they reviewed the test results. "But there's something else. The activated genes are continuing to evolve, adapting to each individual's needs and abilities." Meanwhile, Earth's early warning systems detected movement at the edge of the solar system. Small Keltheran scout ships had arrived, monitoring Earth's activities from a distance. "They're watching us," Noah said, studying the satellite images. "Probably wondering why we haven't sent our surrender yet." Ethan worked day and night to refine the activation process, making it safer and more predictable. Earth's leaders debated whether to implement the procedure on a larger scale. "We don't know the long-term effects," warned one scientist. "This could change humanity forever. If we don't use this, there might not be a humanity to worry about," Noah countered. As the debate continued, more artifacts were discovered, each revealing new information about the Cedars and their technology. It became clear they had seeded many worlds with life, perhaps as an experiment or as part of some greater plan. Olivia found herself wondering why the Cedars had disappeared and if they had faced threats like the Keltherans themselves. Perhaps, she thought, the dormant genes were not just enhancements but weapons designed for a war fought long ago. With the Keltheran deadline just days away, Earth prepared for first contact with an enemy that had no idea what humanity was about to become. Earth's orbital satellites detected the massive ships as they emerged from what appeared to be tiers in space itself. 37 vessels, each larger than anything humans had ever built, arranged themselves in attack formation. "They're not waiting for our answer," Noah said grimly, watching the tactical display in Earth's hastily assembled defense headquarters. Prepare all units for engagement. Earth's defense fleet was small by comparison. Just 22 ships equipped with weapons systems reverse-engineered from the Cedar artifacts. But what they lacked in numbers, they made up for with enhanced pilots. Lieutenant Maya Daniels climbed into her fighter craft, connecting the neural interface to the port at the base of her skull. The enhancement process had given her reflexes and spatial awareness far beyond normal human limits. As the interface activated, she felt the fighter become an extension of her own body. "Eagle Squadron, ready for launch," she reported. Her voice was steadied despite the fear she felt. No human had ever engaged in combat with an alien species before. This would be the first. The Keltheran ships launched hundreds of smaller attack vessels. Earth's defenders rose to meet them. The battle began in Earth's upper atmosphere. Energy weapons lanced through space, creating brief, beautiful auroras as they disrupted the planet's magnetic field. Human pilots wove between the larger alien ships, targeting what they hoped were critical systems. They didn't expect resistance. Noah observed, watching the battle unfold. The Keltheran tactics were sloppy, as if they had anticipated a simple subjugation mission rather than actual combat. Maya's fighter danced through enemy fire, her neural connection allowing her to sense attacks before they came. She destroyed 3 enemy vessels in quick succession, then led her squadron toward one of the larger Keltheran ships. "Target their propulsion systems," she ordered. "Make them blind and immobile." The battle lasted 6 hours. Earth's forces suffered heavy losses. 13 ships destroyed and hundreds of pilots killed. But they managed to damage 7 Keltheran vessels and destroy 3 others before the alien fleet retreated to the far side of the moon. "They're regrouping," Noah told the Defense Council. "This was just the first wave. They'll be back, and they'll be more prepared." Meanwhile, Dr. Olivia Warren made a breakthrough in her analysis of the original Keltheran message. "There's more to it than we initially decoded," she explained, pointing to patterns they had previously overlooked. "Hidden frequencies carrying additional data. They're communicating on multiple levels simultaneously." Her discovery revealed internal politics within the Keltheran Dominion. The message contained disputes between factions, suggesting the Empire was not as unified as it first appeared. Some of them questioned whether Earth should be conquered at all, Olivia said. They mentioned something called the Cedar Protocol and seemed afraid of triggering it. "The Cedars," Noah said thoughtfully. "The Keltherans know about them." As Earth prepared for the next attack, Dr. Ethan Miller continued enhancing more soldiers. Each day, hundreds more received the activation treatment, their bodies and minds evolving with remarkable speed. On the 3rd day after the initial battle, Maya's reconnaissance squad discovered the Keltheran fleet was constructing what appeared to be a massive weapon platform in lunar orbit. "Whatever they're building, we can't let them finish it," Noah said. He called an emergency meeting with his top officers and scientists. "We need to strike now, while they're still recovering from the first battle," he argued. "Hit them before they realize what we're capable of." Olivia had another suggestion. "If the Dominion has internal divisions, we might be able to exploit them, turn their factions against each other." Noah considered both options. Time was short, and Earth's future hung in the balance. "We'll do both," he decided finally. A military strike alongside a psychological one. As the meeting ended, Noah pulled Maya aside. "Lieutenant Daniels, I'm promoting you to commander. I need you to lead our best pilots on a special mission." Maya saluted. "What's the target, sir?" Noah's expression was grim but determined. "We're going to board the Keltheran command ship." Sam Reeves checked his stealth suit one final time. The adaptive camouflage rippled across the surface, matching the metallic corridors of the Keltheran vessel. Born in rural Idaho, Sam had never imagined he would one day infiltrate an alien spaceship. Oxygen levels normal. Enhancement systems functioning at optimal capacity, he whispered to himself. The genetic modifications had changed him in subtle ways. Increased lung capacity, improved night vision, and heightened situational awareness. "Team, sound off," he ordered over the secure channel. 4 acknowledgments came back. His infiltration team was ready. They had been deployed via modified stealth pods, while Earth forces engaged the Keltheran fleet as a distraction. Their mission: access the command ship's central database and plant devices to disrupt Keltheran communications. Operation Wildfire had begun. Back on Earth, Dr. Olivia Warren monitored the operation from headquarters. Sam's team is in position, she reported to Noah. The diversionary attack is working. Most Keltheran ships have moved to engage our forces. Noah nodded, his enhanced eyes processing multiple tactical displays simultaneously. Have Dr. Miller's team made progress with the captured technology? Better than we hoped, Olivia replied. The propulsion systems operate on principles we theorized but never managed to implement. And we've discovered something else. The Keltherans have been collecting human genetic material for centuries. Noah's expression darkened. For what purpose? We think they've been studying us, tracking the development of the cedar enhancements. They may have been waiting for the genes to activate naturally. Aboard the Keltheran command ship, Sam's team moved silently through maintenance tunnels. The alien vessel was vast, with architecture that seemed both organic and mechanical. Strange bioluminescent panels provided light in shades the human eyes had never evolved to process comfortably. 2 guards ahead, whispered Lynn, one of Sam's team members. Her genetic enhancements had given her extraordinary hearing. Sam signaled for the team to halt, then activated a sonic disruptor designed to interfere with Keltheran neural systems. The guards collapsed without raising an alarm. Move fast, Sam ordered. We have 20 minutes before they're found. The team reached the central data core, a pulsing column of what appeared to be living crystal. Sam connected their interface device, and data began streaming back to Earth immediately. We're in, Olivia announced as alien language and schematics filled her screens. Their encryption is complex but not impenetrable. As Earth scientists worked to decode the Keltheran database, Maya Daniels led her fighter squadron in a daring attack on the alien fleet's fuel depot. Enhanced pilots pushed their craft beyond designed limits, executing maneuvers that would have killed unmodified humans. Target locked. Maya called as her targeting system identified the depot's critical juncture. All units, fire on my mark. The resulting explosion temporarily blinded orbital sensors. 3 Keltheran ships were destroyed outright, and 7 more severely damaged. Meanwhile, Dr. Miller made a discovery that changed everything. The Keltherans aren't a natural species, he explained to Noah and Olivia. They're artificial constructs, created by another race even older than the Cedars. On the command ship, Sam's team planted their disruption devices, but found themselves trapped when emergency protocols activated. Keltheran soldiers converged on their position. We're not getting out of this one, Sam told his team. Complete the mission. I'll hold them off. Before they could argue, he activated all of his enhancement protocols simultaneously, a dangerous procedure that would eventually kill him but would temporarily give him extraordinary abilities. As Sam engaged the Keltheran forces in a desperate last stand, Earth received an unexpected transmission from a distant star system. The message was brief but clear. Humans, you are not alone in your resistance. The Araxian Collective stands with you. For the first time since the conflict began, Earth had found an ally. The Araxians, it seemed, had their own history with Keltheran oppression. Noah ordered an immediate response. Tell them we accept their alliance, and tell them to prepare for war. With new allies, recovered technology, and enhanced soldiers, Earth prepared to take the fight directly to the enemy. Operation Wildfire was no longer just about survival. It was the beginning of a galactic resistance. Word spread across the galaxy like wildfire. On 100 worlds, slaves and subjects of the Keltheran Dominion whispered about Earth. They spoke of a small blue planet where beings dared to fight back against their oppressors. Is it true? Asked an Araxian rebel to his human contact. Did your people really destroy a Keltheran command ship? The stories grew with each telling. Some said humans could bend metal with their minds. Others claimed Earth warriors could not be killed. The truth was impressive enough. Humanity had activated its hidden potential and was striking back against an enemy that had conquered 1,000 worlds. The Keltheran High Command was not amused. "This rebellion must be crushed immediately," declared Supreme Commander Orcs. "Send the elite armée. Destroy their planet if necessary." On Earth, Noah Franklin, now promoted to admiral, received the warning from Araxian intelligence sources. "They're sending everything they have," he told the Defense Council. 300 ships, including their dreadnought-class vessels. Olivia sat beside him, her eyes ringed with exhaustion. "How long do we have?" 4 days at most," Noah replied. Dr. Ethan Miller had spent weeks perfecting the enhancement process. What had once required complex equipment could now be delivered through a simple injection. "We can enhance every soldier, every pilot," he explained. "But there will be variance in how the genes express. Some will develop physical enhancements, others mental ones." "Do it," ordered the council president. "Every volunteer gets the treatment." As Earth prepared for the coming battle, Commander Maya Daniels trained her squadron of enhanced pilots. Their reflexes were now so fast that standard simulators couldn't keep up. "The key is coordination," she told them. "Our advantage isn't just individual ability. It's how we work together." Maya had discovered that enhanced humans could form limited neural links during high-stress situations. In combat, her pilots could anticipate each other's moves without verbal communication. On the third day, Earth unveiled its newest defense: shields based on Cedar principles that could absorb and redirect energy. They were installed on major cities and military installations worldwide. "It won't stop a full planetary bombardment," Noah warned, "but it might buy us time." The Araxian Collective sent what ships they could spare, 27 vessels crewed by rebels who had fought the Keltherans for generations. They'd brought with them knowledge of Keltheran tactics and weaknesses. "Their command structure is rigid," explained Araxian Captain Ziv. "If we can disrupt their leadership, individual ship commanders hesitate to act independently." As the elite armada approached Earth's solar system, rebellions broke out across the Dominion. The Keltherans had stretched themselves thin, leaving minimal garrisons on many worlds. These smaller forces found themselves overwhelmed by populations inspired by Earth's resistance. The battle began at the edge of the solar system. Earth's fleet, alongside Araxian allies, engaged the Keltheran vanguard in the asteroid belt. Enhanced pilots executed maneuvers that defied conventional physics, using the asteroids as both cover and weapons. "They've adapted their tactics," Maya reported as her squadron narrowly avoided destruction. "They're targeting our enhancement signatures." The Keltherans had learned from their earlier defeats. Their ships moved in tight formations that made it difficult for smaller Earth vessels to slip through their defenses. For 2 days, the battle raged across the solar system. Earth forces withdrew slowly, leading the Keltheran fleet toward a trap near Mars. There, hidden antimatter mines took out dozens of enemy ships. Still, the Keltherans pressed forward with overwhelming numbers. By the time they reached Earth orbit, only 60% of the human Araxian fleet remained operational. "They're preparing for orbital bombardment," Noah announced grimly as the massive Keltheran dreadnoughts positioned themselves around the planet. Ethan and Olivia watched from the underground command center as the first energy blasts struck Earth's shields. The protective barriers held, but began to flicker under the sustained assault. "The shields won't last another hour," Ethan said. Noah's expression remained determined as he activated a secure channel. "All units prepare to execute Operation Thunderfall. This is our last stand." As Earth's final defense plan launched, billions waited below, watching the sky burn with the light of battle. The sky above Earth blazed with the light of 1,000 suns as the Keltheran fleet hammered the planetary shields. Each impact sent shockwaves through the atmosphere, creating storms that raged across continents. In the command center, Noah watched the defensive grid failing sector by sector. His enhanced mind calculated odds and possibilities at incredible speed, but even he could see the truth: they were losing. Shield failure in North America and Asia, reported a technician. Europe and Africa will follow in minutes. Olivia entered the command center, her lab coat singed from an explosion in the research wing. We've confirmed it, she said, her voice steady despite the chaos. The Keltheran genetic structure is degrading. For weeks, she had analyzed data stolen from the alien command ship. The Keltherans had maintained their empire through extensive cloning, creating identical soldiers and workers for generations. But this process had introduced fatal flaws in their DNA. They're dying as a species, she explained. That's why they've been collecting human genetic material. They need fresh DNA to survive. Noah turned to the tactical display. How can we use this? We've modified the experimental weapon to target these genetic weaknesses, Olivia said, but we'd need to deploy it inside their flagship. Operation Thunderfall had always been a desperate plan. Now it seemed like their only hope. Commander Maya Daniels led what remained of her squadron in a final desperate attack. Her fighter weaved through the burning debris of destroyed ships, both human and Keltheran. Maintain formation, she ordered as they approached the massive Keltheran flagship. Focus all fire on their forward shields. The squadron unleashed everything they had, creating a temporary gap in the alien defenses. Behind them, a stealth transport carrying Admiral Franklin and an elite strike team slipped through the opening. We're in, Noah reported as their ship docked with a Keltheran vessel. Beginning infiltration. On Earth, cities burned as Keltheran weapons broke through the weakened shields. Millions huddled in underground shelters, listening to the destruction above. Dr. Miller supervised the deployment of the last enhancement batches to civilian defense forces. Remember, focus on evacuation, he told them. Get as many people to the bunkers as you can. Aboard the Keltheran flagship, Noah's team fought their way toward the central command chamber. Their enhanced strength and speed gave them an advantage in close combat, but the aliens had numbers on their side. We need to move faster, Noah ordered as they reached a heavily defended corridor. The weapon has to be deployed at the ship's core. Sam Reeves, who had been rescued from the previous mission by Araxian allies, checked the explosive charges they carried. I can create a diversion, he said. Draw their forces away from your path. Noah looked at his old friend. They both knew what such a diversion would mean. There has to be another way, Noah argued. Sam shook his head. The needs of the many, right? He grinned. Besides, these enhancements are burning me out anyway. Might as well go out doing something useful. Before Noah could stop him, Sam took half the explosives and disappeared down a side passage. Moments later, explosions rocked the far side of the ship. He's given us our chance, Noah said, grief and determination in his voice. Let's not waste it. As Keltheran forces rushed to counter Sam's attack, Noah's team reached the core. They planted the weapon, a device that would broadcast a signal targeting the genetic flaws in the Keltheran DNA. Weapon armed, Noah reported to Earth. All units withdraw to safe distance. As Noah's team fought their way back to their ship, Sam's final message came through their comms. It's been an honor serving with you all. Tell them Earth didn't go quietly. Then silence. The Keltheran flagship began to shudder as the weapon activated. Throughout the ship, alien soldiers collapsed as their unstable genetic structure began to break down. From his escape vessel, Noah broadcast a message to all Keltheran ships. This is Admiral Noah Franklin of Earth. We have deployed a weapon that targets your genetic weaknesses. We can activate it fleet-wide. Withdraw now or be destroyed. We are humanity. We fight for freedom. This is your only warning. As the Keltheran flagship began to break apart, the remaining alien vessels faced a decision that would determine the fate of their empire. The Keltheran retreat began as a trickle. First, individual ships broke formation, then entire battle groups disengage. Within hours, the massive armada that had threatened Earth's existence was in full withdrawal. They're running, Maya whispered as she watched from her damaged fighter. The view from Earth orbit showed the alien fleet jumping into faster-than-light travel, disappearing into the darkness of space. On the surface below, people emerged from shelters to find a world damaged but not destroyed. The shields had failed in many places, allowing Keltheren weapons to scar the planet's surface. Major cities like London, Beijing, and Rio de Janeiro had suffered heavy damage. Yet humanity had survived. In the weeks that followed, reports came in from across the galaxy. The Keltheren Dominion was collapsing. Subject species everywhere had risen up against their weakened masters. Planets that had been under alien control for centuries declared their independence. "We didn't just save Earth," No told the United Earth Council. "We started a revolution." The cost had been high. Millions had died in the battle for Earth. Countless more had suffered in the fighting across the galaxy. Among the fallen was Sam Reeves, whose sacrifice aboard the Keltheren flagship had made victory possible. At a memorial service held in the ruins of Washington, D.C., Noah placed a medal on a simple stone monument bearing Sam's name. "He never thought of himself as a hero," Noah said to the assembled crowd. "He was just a man who did what needed to be done." Dr. Ethan Miller and Dr. Olivia Warren had turned their attention to the aftermath of the enhancements. Millions of humans now carried activated cedar genes, evolving in ways no one had predicted. "We've become something new," Ethan explained during a scientific conference. "Not just enhanced humans, but perhaps the next step in what the cedars intended." Olivia had focused her research on helping other species recover their own genetic heritage. Many of the races subjugated by the Keltherans had been modified to make them more compliant. Now she worked to undo that damage. The cedars didn't just influence human development, she told her colleagues. They left their mark on dozens of species across the galaxy. We're all connected by their legacy. Commander Maya Daniels received new orders 3 months after the battle. She would lead Earth's first diplomatic mission to the former Keltheren territories. Her squadron of fighters was refitted as escort vessels for a ship carrying scientists, diplomats, and aid workers. "We go not as conquerors," she told her pilots, "but as allies." The Araxian Collective had become Earth's closest partner in rebuilding the galaxy. Together, they established trade routes and communication networks linking the newly freed worlds. On a warm spring day, Admiral Noah Franklin addressed the United Earth Council about humanity's new place in the galaxy. "A year ago, we were alone, unaware of the greater universe around us," he said. "Today, we stand at the center of a new alliance of free worlds. But our work has just begun." Intelligence reports suggested that remnants of the Keltheren forces had retreated to distant sectors, possibly regrouping. And there were rumors of other empires beyond known space, some perhaps even more powerful than the Keltherans had been. As Noah concluded his address, a ship landed at the newly constructed spaceport outside the council chambers. It carried former Keltheren slaves seeking asylum on Earth. They brought with them warnings of greater threats lurking in the darkness between galaxies. One of the refugees, a being with pale blue skin and 4 arms, approached Noah after the council session. "You have done what no other species dared," the alien said in carefully practiced English. "You have shown the galaxy that resistance is possible. But the Keltherans were not the greatest power out there. Others have noticed your victory. They will come." Noah looked up at the sky, now dotted with the lights of ships from a dozen worlds. "Let them come," he said quietly. "Humanity has found its place among the stars. We won't surrender it easily." As night fell on Earth, research teams continued their work, studying cedar artifacts and preparing defenses. Children with enhanced genes trained to use their new abilities. And in orbit, the first ships of Earth's new fleet took shape. Humanity had survived its first contact with alien life. Whatever came next, they would face it together, not just as humans, but as part of something greater, a galaxy awakening to freedom. 5 years after the Keltheren retreat, Earth had changed in ways few could have imagined. Cities once damaged by alien weapons now featured architecture that blended human design with technology from a dozen worlds. Ships from across the galaxy docked at orbital stations, bringing traders, diplomats, and refugees seeking safety in the shadow of humanity's growing influence. Admiral Noah Franklin stood on the observation deck of the Alliance Command Center, watching a new class of defense vessels undergo final testing. The sleek ships incorporated technology from Earth, Araxia, and several other allied species. "The Defender fleet will be ready for deployment next month," said the young officer beside him. Lieutenant Aaron Kelly had enhanced genes that gave him perfect recall and the ability to process multiple data streams simultaneously. "Good," Noah replied. "We'll need them sooner than most people realize." The warning brought by the refugees had proven accurate. Beyond the former Keltheran territories, something was stirring. Long-range scout ships reported unusual energy signatures at the galaxy's edge, signs of massive fleet movements. In her laboratory beneath the Himalayan mountains, Dr. Olivia Warren made a breakthrough that sent shockwaves through the scientific community. The cedar artifacts, when assembled in specific configurations, formed a communication device of extraordinary power. "It's like they wanted us to find this," she told Noah when he visited her facility. "The cedars left us a message, or rather, a warning." The device projected images of beings unlike any species yet encountered, creatures of energy and matter combined in impossible ways. The Cedars had called them the Void Collective, a civilization so ancient they had witnessed the birth of stars. "The Cedars didn't just enhance us for our own protection," Olivia explained. "They were creating weapons against the Void. That's why the Keltherans feared triggering our potential. They knew what we were designed to become." Commander Maya Daniels returned from her diplomatic mission with troubling news. Several outer colonies had gone silent. When investigation teams arrived, they found entire settlements empty. No bodies, no signs of struggle, just abandoned homes with meals still on tables. "It's like they vanished into thin air," she reported to the Alliance Council. "The only clue we found was this." She displayed a recording showing a strange darkness that moved like liquid, flowing across the ground toward the camera before the feed cut out. Dr. Ethan Miller had been monitoring the evolution of enhanced humans. Third-generation children born to enhanced parents showed abilities far beyond the original modifications. Some could perceive energy fields invisible to normal senses. Others displayed limited precognition. "These abilities aren't random," he explained to a concerned council. "They're specifically suited to combat the Void Collective. The Cedars knew what was coming and prepared us generations in advance." On a distant mining outpost, the first direct contact with the Void occurred. A darkness descended from space, absorbing light and matter alike. The enhanced security team stationed there reported beings that shifted between solid form and energy, immune to conventional weapons. Only one defender survived. She described how her enhanced abilities had unexpectedly allowed her to create a field that repelled the Void entities. "It was like my body knew what to do," she said. "Like I was made for this fight." Noah organized a summit of all allied species. Representatives from 27 worlds gathered on Earth to plan their response to the approaching threat. "The Keltherans were just the beginning," he told them. "The real test of our alliance is coming. The Void Collective has consumed countless civilizations across multiple galaxies. Now they've turned their attention to us." An Araxian scientist shared ancient legends from their world, stories of the Great Darkness that came every 50,000 years to harvest advanced life. "Your Cedars knew this cycle," the Araxian said. "They planted the seeds of resistance across thousands of worlds. We are all part of their plan." As the summit concluded, Earth's long-range sensors detected massive objects entering the outer solar system, objects that absorbed all light and energy around them. The Void had arrived, and humanity's true purpose was about to be revealed.